Hello and welcome to Unity of Las Vegas. My name is Jim Lee. I'm the spiritual leader here. This Sunday we're going to take a little break from our series. Our series was based upon abundance, but instead we're going to explore what I would consider the current events that are happening in the U.S. Everybody's talking about it. In case you didn't know, on this past Wednesday, Congress was really set to declare Biden as the president-elect. A little formal proceeding. However, chaos erupted. And in Washington, D.C., a mob, rioters, stormed the Capitol. And during this process, 4 people were killed, the National Guard was deployed and called in, and there were about 50 people arrested in Washington, D.C. at our nation's capital. And so as some of us had watched this, it was just like in horror and disbelief. We observed what I would call the deepening of the divide of a nation. The fracture seems to have been exploded, and it is fueled by what I would consider misinformation, fake news, conspiracy theories, and just outright lies. And Americans on both sides of the divide seems to be fearful and outraged. And this intensity has been brewing and looks like it's reaching new levels. Well, in the midst of all of this finger pointing and all of that, in the midst of all of us getting upset, I want to back away from the news reports and everything that's going on from this three-dimensional level. I want to back away from this contentious environment that seems to be fueling itself. I want to go to another level. I want to go to a spiritual level, to break away from one form of riot my talk today is entitled The Quiet Riot, Transcending the Zero-Sum Game. Before we get into that, it really is interesting because I want to unhook us from all of this. Randy was going to lead us in a daily word in which is going to set the tone. Then we'll have John Jones that will create a song so we can really get into it. And then I'll be delivering a message, and Lisa will bring it on home with our meditation. And so let's get ready. I want us to unhook from all the drama, and get focused on a spiritual, mystical development that's actually taking place.
Hello, everybody. This is the Daily Word, Hope. I am hopeful and positive. I begin this day with gratitude. Before I get out of bed, I give thanks. I fill my mind and heart with hope for the coming day and for my future. Making a habit of practicing gratitude upon awakening helps me create positivity and hope. Even in the most dire circumstances, I resolve to be hopeful. I look beyond outer circumstances and trust indwelling spirit to inspire me to find good in the midst of all situations. I give myself plentiful reminders that I have reasons for hope. I can make lists of all that I have now, as well as things I hope for in the future. Maybe I can enjoy walks outdoors, or time spent with optimistic friends. There are always reasons to be hopeful when I stay focused on gratitude. Let your steadfast love, O Lord, be upon us, even as we hope in you. Psalm 33:22. Have a great day.
Thank you, Randy. I too believe that there are always reasons to be hopeful when I stay focused on gratitude, and especially now, as we're being called to find consideration in those places which appear to be so challenging and unsteady. If we're to be thankful for the good things in our lives, then shouldn't we also find gratitude, or at least open-heartedness, for the things that show up as confrontations? Remember, it's not the thing that makes us stumble, merely our perception of it that gives it power. So, state this to those things that seem to be in opposition: we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we see the Christ consciousness in you. Retain your power and remain steadfast on the shaky sand. Subscribe to this channel and share today's message with your families and friends who could use a little solid foundation to stand upon. This is a song composed by 4-time Grammy-winning singer-songwriter, blues guitarist Keb Mo. Here is Hand It Over.
If your problems won't go away and you worry both night and day, just hand it over. Get on your knees and pray. If you're sick, feeling low, got no money, got nowhere to go, just hand it over. Knees and pray. Hand it over, hand it over, hand it over, hand it over. Give it up, give it over. Just hand it over. Get on your knees and pray. Get on your knees and pray. Ain't no mountain you can't climb. Ain't no answer you can't find. All you need is a hand to hold. It'll heal your body, feed your soul. The road is dark, you can't find your way. Just let the Spirit light the way. Just hand it over. Oh, get on your knees and pray. Hand it over, hand it over, hand it over, hand it over. Give it up, give it over. Just hand it over. Oh, get on your knees and pray. Get on your knees and pray. Ain't no mountain you can't climb. Ain't no answer you can't find. All you need is a hand to hold. It'll heal your body, feed your soul. If the road is dark, you can't find your way. Let the Spirit light your way. Just hand it over. Oh, get on your knees and pray. Hand it over, hand it over, hand it over, hand it over. Give it up, give it over. Just hand it over. Oh, get on your knees and pray. Get on your knees and pray. Hand it over, hand it over, hand it over, hand it over. Give it up, give it over. Just hand it over. Oh, get on your knees and pray. Get on your knees and pray. Get on your knees and pray. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, John Jones. My goodness. Is it time to hand it over to God in prayer? Absolutely, because we have a lot to hand over. We've got the COVID-19 pandemic that's spreading. We got racial tension that's rising. And we have a nation that's dividing. What is being televised is only part of the story. So how do we experience all of this from a spiritual, metaphysical, mystical point of view that is more than this three-dimensional reality that's going on of duality. So let's take a look at this. And I want to start off with a Lisa Lee quote. And what she says is, inside of the truth of our being, there is a largeness of spirit available to embrace the other. We can move from an either or to a both and. Within this dissonance, a new way of being in community is gestating. A new wholeness is occurring. I like that. So what we're going to do now is unhook from this and say that there's something else that's going on. There's something else that we can interpret and perceive in this world. So what I want us to do is see with a new set of eyes that there is a profound evolutionary spirit that's moving in this evolutionary moment. The world order, or the current paradigm and the current way of thinking and the current way of being, is coming to an end. Now, this doesn't mean that the world is coming to an end. It's just a way of our perceiving and interacting in the world is closing out and a new phase is beginning. And in this new phase, there's something that's occurring. And in metaphysics, and Charles Fillmore from the Revealing Word says this is called chemicalization, is what we're experiencing now. And that's a condition in the mind that is brought about by the conflict that takes place when a high spiritual realization contacts an old error state of consciousness. In other words, a new idea has just come in, and some people are ready for it, and it's causing an agitation. Well, we have a new idea that's been going around. It's called globalization. And what we're having is global trading. And then out of that, we've got the United Nations, and we've got the European Union as people are just coming together. And we've got the World Health Organization. And all of these world organizations now are coming in and trying to form what we call a more unifying consciousness. And then on the other hand, we have had desegregation, and races now are uniting, and they're intermingling with the races like never before. And we've had the women's rights movement, and I call it the Me Too movement, in which women are expressing themselves. And also we've had the LBGTQ rights as more and more people now are being accepted. Well, not everybody likes that. There is a consciousness that is holding near and dear to this old way of being. It's in a collective unconscious. And this new idea is causing chemicalization. And it's this internal agitation that we're having inside, not by everybody, but a majority on the planet. This energy vibration and agitation is then outpictured in an external reality. Now, what are we talking about here? In Unity, we got a third basic principle is this. What we thinking or thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. So we're saying there's a direct relationship between what's going on out there and what's going on inside the collective consciousness. There's agitation going on. And with the agitation that's going on, consequently, is being projected out there. So it is a both and. We are not separate from it. In this universe, there's only one presence. There's only one consciousness. And so we are all tied together in consciousness. Now, you may think that's a bad thing, but actually it's a good thing. We'll get to that in a moment. So now, this outpicturing that we have here is really a call. It's not really against us. This outpitching, this agitation, it's really a call for oneness. It's really a call for healing. What is being revealed on the outside is something that needs to be healed on the inside. This is a move now, a natural evolutionary move that's moving beyond duality to a high vibration. And in order to get there, it's going to take love and compassion. And this is what all this agitation and upset is calling for. We live in this paradigm, and it's called a zero-sum game. And the definition is this: zero-sum game is a mathematical representation of a situation in which each participant's gain or loss of whatever is going on is exactly balanced by the losses or gain of the other participants. So if one wins and the other lose, if another one loses, then the other one gains, but there's actually no gain. It's a zero sum. It's just a win-lose proposition. That's what we're dealing with. Now, this natural evolutionary impulse now is moving beyond the zero-sum game into what has been happening in the universe for 13 billion years, and it's called synergy. Synergy is the combined power of a group of things that are working together, and together they are more powerful than the separate parts that accumulate them. Synergy is a both and is not an either or. Synergy brings things together, and then once it does, something brand new breaks forth. Absolutely outstanding. In the universe, there's an example of this, of hydrogen atom and the oxygen atom. When they came together, you know what they did? It formed something brand new, and it was called water. So Stephen Covey has a wonderful quote that I like, and it says, synergy is what happens when 1 + 1 equals 10 or 100 or even 1,000. It's the profound results when two or more respectful human beings determined to go beyond their preconceived ideas to meet a great challenge. So how do we align with this synergy, this universal evolutionary impulse called synergy that has been here, is here now, and that is moving in and through us and the universe? We don't have to work at this. We're just going to allow this to happen because we want to be in this flow of synergy, because what is happening is all about us being with it, and it is calling us into greater expression. So the first thing that we want to do is just take a break. We feel to get upset, and we're just watching too much of the TV, and we're getting hooked by all of this. What we need to do is just take a walk, read a book, take a break. And what we should do is realize something, to breathe in and relax. And we're going to take a higher view. But in order to do that, the next thing that we're going to do is ground ourselves. Ground ourselves with this, and that is, in unity, this is our first basic principle. It's a spiritual principle. It is something that we can hold on to no matter what, that there is only one presence in the universe and in my life and in your life, and that is God. And this God is absolute good. Now, once we take a breath and we hold on to this, and we back away from everything, we then can take a look at a big picture, and we then can move to a new place. What do I mean? It's like, years ago they would have a movie reel, and it was reel to reel, and you would see the film, and each segment of the film, there would be a picture, and it would continue rolling. Now, if you stopped that reel at any point along the way, and you just take this one snapshot picture, you have no idea about the whole movie. You're just seeing one glimpse. Well, that's what we're doing, is we're taking a breath and relax, because we need to take a bigger view, a bigger picture of this. And instead of us zoning out, what we're going to do is zoom out. It's like looking at a zoom screen. Instead of just looking at one picture, we're going to look at multiple pictures. But in order to do that, we got to take a breath. And then when we're able to get our awareness together, and we realize there's only one presence and one power, then we meet the condition and situation with two things: love and compassion. And as we do, it brings in another, I would call it, spiritual principle, and you all are familiar with this. We do it every Thanksgiving, but now it's time to bring it out of the closet from Thanksgiving and bring it into now, and that is an attitude of gratitude. That's an energy of opening up the heart and looking at things that are working, that are good in your life. That wonderful vibration of gratitude and love opens the space in which light can shine through. And it's not about minimizing the difficult, the tragic conditions that are going on. It's about elevating and enjoying the positiveness so we can elevate it even higher and see it from a different point of view. The problem that we got going on right now is we're trying to deal with this from this three-dimensional oppositional point of view. And it's this clash. That is not going to resolve the problem. We got to rise up above it and not pick this side or that side or right and left. There is, when the two come together in synergy, a third option appears. And what I like about a guy by the name of Matt Kahn, who is a spiritual teacher and just an overall wonderful mystic, he says that as we individually do this, as we raise our vibration and stop getting hooked, and we started loving more, and in opposition to the opposition that's going on, we break free in our own consciousness. But since there's a collective consciousness, we're impacting the collective consciousness field, so that our changing in our thoughts and feelings and attitudes affects the vibration, and ensuring of other people will start to wake up. Now, some people will say, you know what? I'm not having any negative thoughts, and I'm not really sure about any opposition thinking. Oh, we all have it at some point or another. And especially, I pride myself in being open and receptive and tolerant and really accepting. And when I really look at it, you know what? I have low tolerance for people that have low tolerance. Somebody says the Native Americans deserve to be killed, and we said, what? And I realized that I got low tolerance for that. These people need to die, or we don't need to take care of them. They're bums, and I have low tolerance for that. There is now a call to broaden our perspective. It doesn't make them right. It doesn't mean that we're going to agree with them, but we've got to broaden our consciousness so that they're no longer in opposition, that we can fold them in, and as we do, something else will occur. Now, together, we can do this. Together, we can consciously, what I would call, create a quiet riot. We're going to really move forward and evolve. Dr. Martin Luther King said, we must live together as brothers or die together as fools. So spiritually, what is happening? Some people would call it a revolution. But spiritually, it's an evolution. It's the next stage of consciousness. Back in, as I say, years ago, back in about the 70s, there was a guy by the name of Gil Scott-Heron. Oh, he had a great song, and it said, "The revolution will not be televised." Well, Lisa and I just changed some of the words around, and we re-entitled it. The evolution will not be televised. It goes like this. The evolution will not be televised. The evolution will not be televised. You will not be able to stay at home, my brothers and sisters. You will not be able to plug in, log on, cop out, and skip out during commercials because the evolution will not be televised. The evolution will not be televised. The evolution will not show up on YouTube with uninterrupted Wi-Fi connections or arrive to you in 2 days from Amazon. The evolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the evolution will not be televised, my brothers and sisters. But you will no longer care about pictures of you and the Brad Pitt on Instagram or trying to find out where's the beef. The evolution will set you free. The evolution will not be televised. The evolution will not be televised. The evolution will not be televised. You cannot listen to the recording later because the evolution is alive in you. The evolution is in your mind and in your hearts right here, right now. Let's do this. Let's evolve. Let's don't get hung up in all of that stuff. Let's do this. I'm ready to say, my God, what a fantastic time to be alive. I'm ready to evolve. And now Lisa will take us on into a meditation. We're going to create an atmosphere in which we're ready to move forward. 2021 is on its way to becoming a fabulous year. Don't be confused. Don't get hung up in the illusion. Let's find the truth.
Yes, the evolution will not be televised. And that's because we are it. What an incredible time we live in. Last week, we rang in the new year, and we blessed it with all the potential for fulfilling the dreams and hopes and desires that 2020 did not. This week, we're faced with a national uprising, the likes of which we have not seen in our lifetime. This is acting like a cold shower to parts of ourselves that were hoping to remain asleep and coast through the year. The parts of ourselves that are comfortable with the way that we interpret the universe. So this interpretation may be accompanied by strong opinions and emotions that have been validated several times over. Yet in our heart of hearts, we know, looking at the world stage, that living only inside the limits of our own worldview is somehow insufficient and also really unsustainable. Our logical minds may wish to stay there because it feels safe and it feels secure, but there's a larger part of us that knows that something new is emergent here. These times come with an invitation to make a pivot, a turning towards, and to create a larger holding for what's possible. Inside of the truth of our being, there is a largeness of spirit available to embrace the other, where we can move from either or thinking to both and thinking. Within this dissonance, a new way of being in community is gestating, a new wholeness. This activity of coming together of diverse elements is referred to as synergy. From a scientific viewpoint, the universe moves forward not in the coming together of like elements, but through the merging of diverse elements. In fact, the more diverse the parent elements, the greater the leap forward for the universe. And the offspring are a completely new emergence, totally unpredictable by studying either of the parents. So spiritual synergy is where humans come together and surrender into something larger than themselves, larger than their opinions and viewpoints, even in the face of strong disagreement. And in doing so, creating the opportunity for transformation, for evolution to an entirely new level. I was recently listening to Lori Ladd, who is an ascension teacher and a multidimensional channel. And she was relaying a message for us from the Galactic Federation of Light regarding 2021. And she said, be prepared to stand up this year, to take a stand for what you believe in. So while this can certainly be translated to mean taking to the streets, I think it also has a deeper meaning. To remain awake on our own growth edges and to allow the evolutionary impulse to evolve us at all levels into our next highest expression of love. And if we truly do this, I believe something evolutionary will occur this year. Beatrice Brutto reminds us in her beautiful book, The Grand Option, that this next leap forward will not happen via evolutionary autopilot, but will occur in conscious co-creation with us. Evolution does not need to be televised because we are the evolution. We are this quiet riot and can step into this largeness of spirit that is required to shift us from a win-lose paradigm to one of wholeness and generative collaboration. So let's now take this into meditation. I invite you to find a comfortable way of sitting and being, and bring attention to your breath. And just take some gentle in-breaths and out-breaths. And just noticing with these gentle in-breaths and out-breaths that your physical body begins to really relax. Your muscles release any tension that may be there. And as your physical body begins to relax, your mind relaxes, your thoughts soften, your emotions soften. And all of these beautiful parts of being come into harmony within this pulse of the breath. So take a moment now to go inside of your beliefs and your opinions, this beautiful part of your being, and just admire what you see there. Admire the logic that is there in your belief structures, the beauty that's there. And appreciate all the cultural input that is made possible for you to be there, for you to think as you think, to feel as you feel, to believe as you believe. If it's your parents or grandparents or something in our culture, just allow all of that to be there and to appreciate it. And now move into this largeness of self, beyond our roles, the self that is able to have feelings, but not to be feelings, that has thoughts, but is not thoughts. Moving beyond any job titles that you may have, any roles that you may have. They can all be there, but now they are swimming in this largeness of being, this expansiveness of who you are, the totality of your being. Now bring to mind someone that thinks differently from you. It may be someone that you've recently had a disagreement with or a strong conversation, or you could perhaps even take what is going on the world stage, if that is something that is causing you some dissonance. And as you bring this person to mind, or these people to mind, just embrace a possibility for them that there is also a logic there to admire. There's a sense of beauty and order to the belief structures, to all the cultural influences, family influences that have gone into causing them to think and believe as they do. And as you bring them to mind, also allow yourself to experience any dissonance that may be there between your view and theirs. And allow yourself to just be with it, without trying to fix it or to change it. And now say to them, "There's room in me for you." And in saying that, embrace them into this largeness of spirit that is you, this largeness of heart, big enough and expanded enough to hold both viewpoints, both belief structures. Breathe into the dynamic wholeness that's there in this large embrace, this healing of separation. Sense into this inherent wisdom that is present, that knows what to do, that knows how all the parts fit together, that knows what needs to arise now. Sense into the depth of this wisdom, which is so saturated in love. Frederick Bruckner says, "A miracle is when the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. A miracle is when 1 + 1 is 1,000. Breathe in the miracle that is now occurring inside of your heart. The exponential possibilities of synergy that you have now put in the hands of the universe. And claim this miracle not only for yourself, but for everyone on the planet. In the realm of spirit, what is done for one is also done for all. This now becomes a potent prayer, interpenetrating the planet, that can truly move us forward to our next highest expression of love collectively. Truly a quiet riot. Take another deep breath in this wholeness, this interconnectedness, knowing deep in your heart that this is the way it really is.
Yes. Thank you, Lisa. Great meditation. Starting to feel it in your body. Allow it. Experience now this evolution of consciousness that's bringing about a new way of being right here and right now. So thank you for joining us. And just want you to know that immediately following the service, I'm inviting you to join us so we can have a lively conversation about what's going on in the United States, what's going on the planet, what's going on in your life, so that we can weave in what's really going on in this spiritual evolution. And you can just register on the website or follow the instructions in the comments section in order to be able to join us for our special fellowship time. And also, if you enjoyed this service in any kind of way, if you found that it is beneficial, please share it with someone who would appreciate it. And then also another thing that you can do is pray with us and for us. And if you happen to be needing in prayer, you can just contact us via our website so we can be with you in special prayer time. And as we go forward, we are not brought to you by any particular product. We are brought to you because of your love offerings and donations. And so there's a couple of ways that you could do it. One is via the phone, and you can text and also check out our website for the donation. Just want you to know we appreciate any and everything that you're able to contribute so that we can spread the word. And so now, as we close out, I'm just really excited about this. We have our prayer for protection, but Lord knows, let's put some juice behind it now as we really need this together. So it'll come up on the screen. The words, take a deep breath, unhook from everything, hook into this, and let's say it together. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. God bless you. And let's have a great life together.
Hand it over, hand it over, hand it over, hand it over. Give it up, give it over. Just hand it over. Get on your knees and pray. Get on your knees and pray. Ain't no mountain you can't climb. Ain't no answer you can't find. All you